We pray for Ukraine or your reign.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses, no more hurting, no more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan, make peace. So be it.
No need war to kill humans. It's more effective just to be no vegan.
911, what's your emergency?
Change to vegan is how to survive. Wise.
Warning: sensitive content.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
5 decades of secrecy.
From cardinal to criminal.
Church leaders protect priests accused of sexually abusing minors.
Allora la verità da alcuni predicatori verrà taciuta, da altri sarà conculcata e negata. La santità della vita da quelli che la professano sarà posta in derisione, per lo che il Signore manderà loro un degno non pastore, ma sterminatore.
Please watch on for Prophecy, Part 260, The Divine Prophetic Wisdom of St. Francis of Assisi, Vegetarian.
It is my opinion that one cannot create true inner peace and reach their spiritual potential if they ingest the suffering, fear, and death of an animal who wants to live. Ella Majors, vegan.
Abortion does not survive on science or reason or logic or joy. It survives on fear. Fear and despair. And that is exactly what we can overcome with truth, with science, with reason, and ultimately with love.
So let's keep encouraging each other. Let history show that we stood up in defense of life and of the most vulnerable, and especially our brothers and sisters in the womb.
10 million lives!
All too many!
Life from conception!
No exception!
Cheerful greetings, sweet viewers. To reassure your Italian friend who is learning something new, you can say non c'è fretta, meaning there is no hurry in Italian, the nation's official language. I am Alessandro, an eco-craftsman who creates original artworks from upcycled materials, including gold and colorful sea glass. The tranquil citizens of Italy join you in honoring the preciousness of all life. May your actions always be guided by God's merciful love. Throughout the history of mankind, the divine messages are often shrouded in mystery. Prophets, messiahs, or whichever names you call them, are often persecuted and oppressed, their words obscured. But how do we distinguish the true from the false? To do so, one can only rely on the divine's guidance, and the truth will reveal itself to those who earnestly seek it. Saint Francis of Assisi, vegetarian, was said to have been illuminated from the rays of divine light. He used his God-given insights and profound wisdom to warn humankind of severe challenges that they would one day face, especially from within the Catholic Church. As humanity has strayed from the path of goodness, we face much evil in the world now, and his writings have sounded the alarm.
Allora la verità da alcuni predicatori verrà taciuta, da altri sarà conculcata e negata. La santità della vita da quelli che la professano sarà posta in derisione, per lo che il Signore manderà loro un degno non pastore, ma sterminatore.
As Saint Francis of Assisi warned, the current Pope, whom we refer to as P. Francis, and many who hold high ranks within the Catholic Church, do not hold human life to be sacred. As we learned in our previous episode, P. Francis publicly appoints, rewards, honors, and celebrates outspoken abortion activists. He is a so-called preacher who tries to silence the shameful truth that there is a startling number of victims of sexual abuse perpetrated by the Catholic Church all around the world. This includes the molestation of toddlers, children, boys and girls, men and women, and even nuns.
A massive child sexual abuse scandal has rocked the Catholic Church in Portugal. The church members molested more than 4,800 children in the last 70 years. Most of the victims were 10 to 14-year-olds. The youngest of them was a 2-year-old.
Religious life in Japan is dominated by Shintoism and Buddhism, with less than 1% of the population practicing Catholicism. Despite the small numbers, allegations of abuse have surfaced against Catholic clergymen in recent years.
Unprecedented child abuse scandals in Africa are compromising the Catholic Church.
Startling new report detailing decades of sexual abuse in Baltimore.
This 456-page report, the product of a 4-year grand jury investigation in Baltimore, reveals decades of unspeakable crimes against children perpetrated by members of the clergy in Baltimore and covered up by the leaders of the Catholic Church there. There are accounts of teenagers being chained and whipped, of 2 little girls, grade schoolers, abused hundreds of times by one priest, and on and on and on,
etc.
We were shown Father Maskell's office, and the lady said, these girls are so lucky. If they have any problems at all, they have Father Maskell here to guide them in anything they might need help with. And I was naked within the first 5-10 minutes of being in his office. We would see other girls lined up outside of his office. As I would go out, another one would go in. It was a parade.
Both of those men came to my house, and they would rape me in my own bed, in my own house.
People have killed themselves because of what he did in that room.
He told me, nobody's going to believe you over me. Nobody's going to believe you over a priest.
My life just went to hell.
Now, in the Me Too era, there's a growing chorus of nuns speaking out as survivors of abuse as well.
In India, a bishop currently faces charges for repeatedly raping a former Mother Superior.
They tell them, keep quiet or our congregation will be persecuted. These women can't even contemplate leaving because they don't have any alternatives. They have no trade, no support group. They've severed ties with their families, so they are forced to endure this abuse that often leads to pregnancy, and the priests or bishops force them to have abortions. We have many testimonies from nuns who had more than one abortion in this way.
Instead of protecting victims, Pope Francis has promoted known rapists within the Catholic Church and simply moved clergymen to different countries or dioceses when their sexual abuse has been uncovered, thereby allowing them the freedom to prey on other innocent victims in their new location. His actions show that he does not want to stop the rampant sexual abuse that ruins the lives of countless innocent victims. If he sincerely wanted to do so, he would remove sexual offenders from the clergy. Thus, the actions of Pope Francis reveal that he is trying to conceal sex crimes rather than fix the problem.
On the ground, as cases in the US mount, prosecutors and activists say the church is fighting hard against survivors. Pope Francis has vowed to root out child sex abuse and created clear guidelines on reporting cases. But survivors groups say the church cannot be trusted to police itself.
Throughout the history of this crisis and in every country, the issue is that the church protects itself and its reputation first and foremost, and that reporting structures that are internal and go from priest to bishop to cardinal up to the Vatican, they mean nothing.
Law enforcement needs to be brought in to investigate these claims. And in many cases, the church has resisted the involvement and engagement of law enforcement.
The church has reportedly spent millions of dollars lobbying against statute of limitations reform that would allow those with historic abuse claims to come forward.
Decades of Catholic leadership decisions and policies have allowed known child sex abusers to hide, often in plain sight.
Pope Francis, earlier this year, he drew widespread criticism, defending a Chilean bishop accused of covering up for that country's most notorious abuser priest.
His allegation, the principal one, is that between 2009 and 2010, Pope Benedict imposed a penalty on Archbishop McCarrick because he knew they had paid settlements to men that he had abused. He also took him out of public ministry. Now, when Pope Francis became Pope, Vigano claims he informed the Pope himself of McCarrick's misdeeds, and the Pope ignored this and restored McCarrick.
We have prominent cardinals taken an anti-Catholic stance on moral issues, of which we thought was settled. We have the Holy Father himself seeming to support them, to give his blessing to them.
Dishonorable cardinals, whom Francis protected or elevated. Cardinal Domenico Calcagno protected Nello Giraldo, a priest who had abused a same-sex minor. Pope Francis retained him in office. Cardinal Joseph de Kessel appointed Father Tom Flemmes as a pastor after he had been convicted of sexual abuse. Pope Francis chose Bishop de Kessel as Archbishop and named him a cardinal. Archbishop Mario Enrico Delpini moved Father Mauro Galli to a new parish after being informed that Galli had sexually abused a young man. Pope Francis named him as Archbishop of Milan in 2017. Cardinal Donald Wuerl allowed Father George Zerwis to continue in ministry after learning that he had committed numerous crimes of sexual abuse. Pope Francis praised him for his nobility, kept him in charge of the Archdiocese of Washington. Monsignor Battista Mario Salvatore Rica was engaged in grave homosexual misbehavior, got trapped in an elevator with a male prostitute. Pope Francis put him in charge of his residence and named him as a prelate.
Father Caradiva has been since proven guilty by the Vatican of sexual abuses. He's here, still in the C9.
They will stay as long as the Pope wants them there.
Thank you very much.
It seems then that only the Pope has the power to punish his cardinals. So why doesn't he take stronger action? Maybe because he too faced accusations in his homeland of Argentina long before his election.
etc.
Our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai has been condemning Pope Francis of his evil deeds and has revealed his true nature.
You remember this guy, Pope Francis, he's pro everything that is not moral and not humane. If you remember, he was pro-abortion because he treated those who make abortion rights into law like saints.
Yes, Master.
And he also proclaimed that sins of the flesh are not too serious, remember?
Yes, Master.
Concerning all these people who had like extramarital affair or even hinting of sexual abuse of children.
Yes, Master.
So he's also pro-child sexual abuse.
Yes.
So he's pro-abortion, pro-sin, and even encourages people to sin.
Yes, Master.
Because he says sin of the flesh is not serious. And he's also pro-sexual abuse of children, the victims. He ignores them even when they complain. They plea. Ignore the pleas of sexual abuse victims. And now he's pro-Putin or pro-war is just another evil approval.
Yes.
Nothing surprises us anymore. Is that?
No, Master.
No, not at all.
He's not pro-Putin. He's not actually.
Oh, why, Master?
Why, Master?
You know why I say that?
No, why, Master?
No, we don't, Master.
Because he's pro-Satan.
Yes.
Right.
So, it's worse.
Yes.
You know already many disciples saw him like an evil demon.
Yes,
Master.
A very special and ugly looking demon.
میخواهم تجربه‌ام در یک مدیتیشن را با شما در میان بگذارم. چهره واقعی پاپ فرانسیس را دیدم که به شکل یک موجود ترسناک درآمده بود. با دهان و پوزه بسیار بزرگ با دندانهای تیز و بلند. او میخندید و داشت یک انسان را به صورت زنده میخورد.
我打坐在境界中，去到教宗方济各所在的地方，
见到它是一个恶魔的恐怖形状。教宗察觉到我来了，没有眼珠的双眼就射出邪恶的绿光，对我张牙舞爪，发出野兽般的低吼。
I went to meditate and suddenly went into samadhi. I clearly saw the real body of the incumbent pope. He is the crocodile devil with hard scales all over his body, who emits a grimy and evil magnetic field. His long mouth, with vicious, protruding fangs, was exhaling an extremely dirty breath. He looked extremely frightening.
Etc.
Is confining, tormenting, and murdering animal people according to your nation's animal protection laws? Oh, not at all. So world leaders and world citizens, stop it now.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Nicaragua is one of them. Nicaragua, law for the protection and welfare of domestic animals and domesticated wild animals. The protection of all species of domestic animal and domesticated wild animal people is declared of national interest against any act of cruelty that causes them injury, suffering, or death, caused or allowed by the human being, directly or indirectly. Penalties for violating the law include fines, confiscation of the animal person from the caregiver, and prohibition of keeping animal individuals for up to 5 years. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more herding. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan, make peace. So be it.
Vegan, because all lives are so precious.
Precious viewers, thank you for sharing time with us today. Please join us again next week for the dynamic prophecies of St. Francis of Assisi, vegetarian. Coming up next is venerated immortal prophet Al-Khidr, peace be upon him, vegetarian, the green one, part 1 of 2, right after noteworthy news. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. May you be an everlasting source of serenity and peace.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Russia, leave Ukraine or Ukraine now. Peace be with you too.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/AP.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/AP.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/AP.
I nostri programmi sono offerti in molte lingue. Consultate suprememastertv.com/schedule e suprememastertv.com/AP